Shalom, Yasharala. I'm giving the infinite honors to my heavenly Father, my great King, Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Harakakadash. Also want to give double honors to all the apostles and other bishops, a great millstone, and salutation to my fellow laborers in the Mashak Yahushua, pushing the blood truth across the four winds in this final hour. Shalom to you, brothers. All right, I'm going on the topic about the Gentiles, the Israelite foreigners, all right? This is a mystery that has been revealed in this final hour to the elect men, all right? And it's a stumbling block to 2/3 of our people and the heathen, all right? And it was foretold in the scriptures that this mystery will be revealed in these last days, all right? So when you read the scriptures about the Gentiles, what made it a mystery is because the so-called white man, when he got on his hands on our scripture, he mangled them, he lied, okay? He told half-truths. And one of the greatest lies ever told is who the Gentiles were, all right? That Paul went and taught, and Barnabas went and taught, all right? Those were Israelite foreigners, all right? Scattered Israelites, Israelites of the diaspora, all right? That were Hellenized, all right? And took on the ways of the heathen. But according to DNA, according to biology, they are Israelites, okay? Those are the people that Paul taught. He didn't teach the other nations. He didn't teach the other races, all right? He didn't teach the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Edomites, the Hamites, all right? He only went and taught Israelite foreigners that had fell away from this way of life that Yahweh Shemashai gave it to us through the prophet Moses, all right? So I'm going to start off in Colossians, the first chapter, the 25th verse, all right? Wherefore I am made a minister according to the dispensation, and dispensation goes into permission of Yahweh, which is given to me for you to fulfill the word of Yahweh, all right? Now let's see what the Lord gave him permission to go do. Even the mystery, all right, which have been hid from ages and from generations, but now is made manifest to the saints, all right? And you got to become a historian when you understand these scriptures. The mystery was, the only way you're going to understand the mystery, you have to know the history, all right? And that's what our beloved Elder Gabar taught us, man, all right? And you got to know what was going on during the time that Paul worked the earth, the time that Peter worked the earth, the early church, okay? You had Hellenized Jews that didn't deal with the Jews that were of the circumcision, that lived throughout Judea, Jerusalem, Cappadocia, Bethlehem, Bethany, so on and so forth, okay? And they were called the circumcision. And then the uncircumcision were Israelite foreigners that were living according to the way of the Greeks and the Romans, Hellenized Jews, okay? That didn't even know that they were Israelites. They were uncircumcised and they was living the ways of the heathen. And for you have to know that history to understand the mystery. And the history was that they were at variance with one another. The circumcision didn't deal with Israelite foreigners, even though they were biologically the same people. Okay? And this is what Paul is talking about. Even the mystery which has been hid from ages, from generations to generations. And that's the mystery, that the circumcision never dealt with the Israelite foreigners. All right, they cast them away as if they were heathens. But now it's made manifest to his saints. Now, what was made manifest to the saints? That the Lord was going to bring in those Israelite foreigners that fell away, okay, that were carried away to these dumb idols. All right, to whom Yahweh will make known what is the riches of his glories of this mystery among the Gentiles, which Hamashiach in you for the hope of glory. All right, and the Lord raised up Paul to go to those Israelites according to the flesh that were wearing tiogas, were part of fraternities, that were living after the manner of the Romans and the Greeks. All right, and he was going through the foolishness of preaching to transform their mind, and bring them back to Yahweh Shem Shai and the ways of the Israelites, okay? And that's the mystery that has been revealed in this final hour, man, who the Gentiles are. And that's what we're about to go into. All right, this is Acts, the 18th chapter, the 6th verse, all right? And it's written, I'm going to start at verse 5. And when Silas and Timothy were come from Macedonia, Paul was pressed in the spirit and testified to the Jews. This is the circumcision that Yahushua was Hamashiach, okay? Now, these are the Jews throughout Judea, the Israelites that knew that they were Israelites, okay? That never fell away from the law of Moses and was keeping their customs and culture, all right? And when they opposed themselves and they rejected Yahushua, okay? The Jews rejected our great king, the vast majority of them, all right, in the doctrine he brought. Not all of them, but the vast majority of them did. And blasphemed, okay? That's why they killed our great king. All right, they were calling him the blasphemer, but they were the blasphemers. That's why they killed the apostles and a great number of people in the early church, because they were blasphemers. They were unbelievers. He shook his raiment, and that's what Yahushua told us to do. If somebody don't receive this truth, shake the dust off your feet for a testimony against them, and said unto them, your blood be upon your heads. And he was fulfilling the book of Ezekiel, where the Lord say, if you had his testimony and don't give it to men and don't prophesy to them, that their blood be on our heads, okay? That's why we do these sit-downs and go out on the block week in and week out. I am clean. From henceforth, I will go unto the Gentiles. And then that's exactly what he did. All right, now who are these Gentiles, okay? Are they what the heathen, what the so-called white man, who the so-called white man told us who the Gentiles are? No, you have two sets of Gentiles, all right? And that's what you don't learn in modern day Christianity, all right? You got full-fledged heathens, they are Gentiles, and you got Israelite foreigners that were carried away to these dumb idols, that are Israelites according to the flesh by DNA, biologically, all right? But they conform to the ways of the heathen, all right? And those are the Gentiles Paul went to, all right? This is 1 Corinthians 12 and 19. It's like it, 12, I'm going to start from the top. Now, concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. You know that you were Gentiles carried away into these dumb idols, even as you were led, all right? Now, listen. This is what you got to understand. Let's get this in the blue letter. The beloved brother say you were carried away, all right? So where were you carried away from? Okay? Well, for you to be carried away to these idols, that means your way of life couldn't have been originally a part of these idols. Like, you can't carry a Roman away from idolatry, because when they are born in earth, they are born to worship Zeus and all those deities, the Mars and Pluto and Diana, all those Greek and Roman gods. You can't carry them from something when they are born in it, and that's what they were taught from birth, okay? But through Hellenization, Greek Hellenization, the Jews was carried away from the law of Moses and the ways of Yahweh Bashem Awashai to those idols, to those philosophies, okay? That's why when you read the book of Acts, our people the Ephesians was worshiping Diana, okay? They was worshiping Zeus, all these foreign deities, all right? Because Greek Hellenization, that's how they was carried away to those idols. Now, let's get these words, carried away. Hold on, let me type it in first. 1 Corinthians 12, verse 2. All right, let's get it. Okay. All right. Now let's get the I typed in the wrong thing. Salakia. I don't know what happened there. Salakia, bear with me. I don't know what happened there. All right. I don't know what the hell happened there. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2. Come on, let's go. All right. Now let's get the word carried away. Let's see what he meant when you know what? Let's get you were led. All right. How were you led? All right. How were you led? To take one. Where were you led from? To be led somewhere, you have to be led. You were at an original place, but then you were led away. All right. And what they were led away from? The ways of Yahweh Shema Shai. To lead, to take one, to lead by laying hold of. And this way to bring to the point of destination of an animal. All right. And that's what happened to us. We were conquered by the Greeks and led away to their philosophies. We're gonna prove it. To lead by accompanying into a place. Let's see what we were taken from and led to. To lead was oneself, attached ones to an intended. To conduct bring, to lead away to court of justice magistrate. All right. So and down here at the last one they say to go, to depart. All right. Verse Roman number 2, definition C, to move, impel, of forces and influence on the mind. And that's exactly what happened. We were moved from where we originally were, impelled, all right, and we're going to see how we were impelled, of forces and influences on the mind. Now let's show what happened when he said, Salakia for that. Nah, let's see how we were moved, all right, and led away from. Let's prove it. All right. This is Greek Hellenization right here at its finest. This is First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 44. And it reads, this ain't number Satan. Bear with me, this damn TV came back on. All right, Salakia for that. Okay, now this is what we were led away from, all right? Now let's see what we were led away. This is how we was carried away to those dumb idols. First Maccabees 1 and 44, for the king had sent letters by messengers into Jerusalem. It's talking about Epiphanes the 4th, and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land. So we were taken away from our laws, and the king put out a decree that we should follow their laws. And their laws was all about idolatry, worshiping their gods and their deities and their way of life. All right. And look, and forbid burnt offerings. All right. So we had to take away our customs and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple. All right. That's the law of Moses. And that they should profane the Shabbats and the festival days. So we was taken away from our way of life. That's our way of life. What we just read in 45. And burnt offerings. It say we were forbid to do burnt offerings, sacrifice, drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Shabbats and the festival days. So we was taken away from our customs and culture, and then and we was by forced to abide by the ways of the heathen, the idolaters, and pollute the sanctuary and the holy people. This is what we was led away from, and this was where we were led to. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols. You see what he meant when he said we were carried away to those idols, and sacrifice swine flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised like the heathen, and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end that they may forget the law. And this is what Paul was saying. Look, you was carried away to them dumb idols. Okay? That's what Paul was telling them. All right, and they were carried away from what? The law of Moses, our customs, our culture, so on and so forth, and change all our ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So in fear of death, our people defiled themselves by following the king's commandment, all right, and they were led away to idolatry and keeping the customs and the ways of the heathen, okay? So when you go to 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 2, that's what Paul's talking about when he said, you know that you were Gentiles, all right? And what made you a Gentile, all right? When you conform to the ways of the heathen, those are Gentiles, all right? You could be an Israelite by DNA biologically, but when you live according to the ways of the heathen and you cast away your ways, that's what happened during Greek Hellenization. You don't even keep your customs and culture no more. All right. The Israelites that never lost their way of life, that always kept their culture and customs, they looked at you as if you were a heathen. You got to know the history to understand the mystery. All right. And that's how we were carried away to these dumb idols. All right. Even as we were led by the so-called white man to idolatry. The Greeks were the Hebrew Edomites. Okay. They the Hebrew Edomites. And that's who Hellenized our people. And when you come to the time that Yahushua, our great King Yahushua, and the apostles, and the early church with Paul and Barnabas, they went to those Hellenized Israelites who were led away and that were living the ways of the heathen. Okay, and they were scattered throughout all Asia Minor, and we're going to prove it. All right, they was living in Galatia, they was living in Ephesus. Okay, they was living in Philadelphia. All right, in Smyrna, Thyatira, so on and so forth. All right. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 2, verse 34. And it's written, and therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen. All right. Now, why is Ezra calling Israelites heathens? All right. You got to understand what was going on during his time. We were carried away in the Babylon captivity. All right. And we were carried away into Persia. All right. And what happened when Ezra went back to Jerusalem? And what happened to our people when they were in Persia, so on and so forth? When you read the book of Ezra and Nehemiah, all right, our people were speaking the tongues of the heathen. They was marrying the heathen. They was living the ways of the heathen, okay? And he's also prophesying about what was ultimately going to happen to us too, okay? And therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd, you see? He's talking about what was going on during his time, but he's also prophesying about that Greek Hellenization, because he said, look for our shepherd. Well, where was our shepherd? Our shepherd was during the time of Yahushua, so he was prophesying, okay? And he shall give you everlasting rest, for he is not at hand that shall come to the end of the world. See, he was prophesying, letting our people know that we were going to be in a heathenistic mindset, and he called us heathens. All right, because when he say, "Oh, heathen, that hear and understand, look for your shepherd." Our shepherd is Yahushua, and Yahushua clearly tells you that he only came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. All right, and he said he shall give you everlasting rest. And when you read Matthew 11 chapter, our great King said, "What? Take my yoke upon you; it is easy. My burden is light, and I will give you rest for your souls." All right, through this doctrine. This doctrine is for the Israelites only and the Israelite foreigners. Okay? And he say, and that shall come in the end of the world. We're at the end of an eon. We're at the end of an age. And that's why this doctrine is exceedingly consuming the earth. Truth is sprang up. Infidelity is cut off. Okay? So Ezra had likened our people to the heathen. And these are the people that Paul went and taught. Okay? And what did Paul teach them? Yahushua. All right, he the one taught them about grace in Yahushua. Okay, and he went to the heathen who were Israelites. All right, this is Romans. You know what? I'm gonna get this in the NLT. This is Romans 15, but I want to bring it out in the NLT. NLT be ruthless sometimes. When I say ruthless, it cuts up a lot of the so-called white man lies. All right. This is Romans chapter 15, verse 8. All right, and this is what it says in the NLT. Remember that Hamashiach, I'm going to read verse 9 too, so it's a lock in. All right, this is Romans 15, chapter 8, and verse 9. Okay? Remember that Hamashiach came as a servant to the Jews. All right? Now that would say circumcision if you read it in the King James Bible. Okay, in the KJV. All right. Peter was the head of the church amongst the circumcision, amongst the Jews that knew they were Jews. All right. To show that Yahweh is true to the promises he made to their ancestors. He also came so that the Gentiles might give glory to Yahweh for his mercies to them. And what's the mercies that Yahweh Shai was showing to the Gentiles? Giving them a chance to partake in those promises made to their ancestors. All right, those Israelite foreigners and those Jews had the same ancestor because they are the same stock. That this is what the psalmist meant when he wrote, "For this I will praise you among the Gentiles, and I will sing praises into your name." All right. Now, when he said the psalmist, all right, who King David, who is the book of Psalms written to? Okay. Who is the book of Psalms written to? Exclusively the Israelites. The book of Psalms, if you go to these so-called scholars, all right, experts in history, these historians, they would tell you the book of Psalms is exclusively written to the Israelites. All right. This is what Paul was quoting. This is Psalms 18 and 49. All right, and this is what he was quoting. All right. Therefore, I will give thanks unto thee, O Yahweh, among the heathen, and sing praises unto thy name. All right, this is a prophecy because look, it was a prophecy that we was going to be discontinued from our heritage, all right, and get in a heathenistic state of mind. And Yahweh Shai in the last days was going to come and give us his glorious gospel to redeem us. You go in that word redeemed. For you to be redeemed, that means you once had to be part of something. When you go to Ephesians, the 2nd chapter, when it says part of that commonwealth, a commonwealth only is for somebody that is part of a stock. Like my sons, if I like grow a monopoly, all right, I grow a company and it expands and its net worth goes into the millions. When I pass, hypothetically speaking, that commonwealth I built, the only ones that have access to it is my heirs that descended from my loins. Okay? So the only one that had access to these promises are the Israelites. So when it says, therefore I will give thanks unto thee, O Yahweh, among the heathen, and sing praises unto thy name, that those heathens are Israelites in contrast to popular belief. Okay? The word Gentile and heathen is one of the same. Okay? In fact, let's get that in the NLT, because it should say nations. It should say it's nations. All right, Psalms 18, verse 49. Okay. And in the NLT it says, For this, O Yahweh, I will praise you among the nations, and I will sing praises to your name. See? Those nations are the nations where the Israelite was scattered. All right? Those heathens are the Israelites that was part of the diaspora. Those heathens that were scattered throughout the four winds are Israelite foreigners. They're called heathens because they were living according to the ways of the heathen. Okay? Let's prove it. This is the book of John. All right? And this is our great king prophesying. All right? This is John. Now, we just read that it said our great king was only sent to the Jews, to the circumcision. You know what? Let me bring that out again. Let me bring that back out in Romans 15 and 8. Let me get that so we can have more clarity. Romans 15 and 8, and it reads, Now I say that Yahweh Shai, the anointed, was a minister of the circumcision, you see, for the truth of Yahweh. So the circumcision were the Jews in Jerusalem, throughout Judea, all right? That's who he taught to. He didn't teach the Israelite foreigners. He didn't deal with them. That's what the early church did. Paul and Barnabas were sent to the Israelite foreigners, okay? To conform the promises made unto the fathers, okay? So Yahweh Shai was sent to the Israelite foreigners, okay? No, Salaki, Yahweh Shai was sent to the circumcision, all right? He got those 12 disciples who were all Israelites. They knew they were Israelites. And he taught amongst his people, but his people rejected him, the vast majority. Now let's see what our great king said when he was prophesying. All right, this is John chapter 10, verse 15. And it's written, as the Father knoweth me, even so know I the Father, and I lay down my life for the sheep. And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold. All right. Now, what was the other sheep that he had that went over this fold? Those were the Israelite foreigners, because he was only teaching the Israelites throughout Jerusalem, Judea, all throughout Israel. Okay. The other sheep that's not of that fold was the Israelites that Paul went and taught. Okay. That Barnabas went and taught. Those was the sheep that wasn't of that fold. Them also I must bring, and they shall hear my voice. But the way they was going to hear his voice was through his disciples, okay? And there shall be one fold and one shepherd, because the Lord was going to bring everybody back into him. He was going to redeem those Israelites that was living according to the way of the heathen, like Cornelius, all right? He was a Hellenized Jew. He was a Jew according to the flesh, but he was a Roman centurion, so he was living according to the way the Romans was living, okay? But he came back to his law, statutes, and commandments, all right? So let's get something to bag this up, all right? To show you the ones he was talking about that wasn't of his fold. These are the ones that wasn't of his fold that he was talking about. This is John 7:35. Then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we should not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed among the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? And that's exactly what Paul did. They went to the diaspora, the Israelite foreigners that were scattered throughout the four winds, among the Gentiles, okay, and the Israelites who were Gentiles, and taught the Gentiles. Now let's get that and see how that is read when you go into when you get it in the NLT. This is John chapter 7, verse 35. All right, let's see what he come back with in the NLT. All right. The Jewish leaders were puzzled by this statement. Where is he planning to go? They asked. Is he thinking of leaving the country and going to the Jews in other lands? That's exactly what Paul did. Maybe he will even teach the Greeks. All right. And those Greeks were Israelite foreigners. All right. When you go into that word Greek, all right, it goes into Hellenic. And those was Israelites that conformed to the ways of the Greeks. Man. All right. And these things have to be brought out. These things have to be taught so that elect can get sealed. All right, we have to tear down these strongholds and overturn these stumbling blocks that was given to us by the so-called white man. It's nothing more than lies. Tear down these doctrines of doubles, all right? So when Paul quoted Yahushua, he was talking about Israelite foreigners. This is our Acts, the book of Acts, chapter 13, verse 47, and it's written, for so have Yahweh commanded us, saying, I have set thee to be a light of the Gentiles, that they should be for salvation to the ends of the earth. Okay? Paul was quoting Yahushua. He say, thou should be, I'm going to read again, for so have Yahweh commanded us, saying, I have set thee up to be a light to the Gentiles, that thou shouldest be for salvation into the ends of the earth. All right? And those Gentiles are Israelite foreigners who Paul went and taught. Okay? Israelites, man. These are not heathens. These are not the other nations. I'm going to leave off on a banger. All right, this is Isaiah 11 and 10. And it's written. And the book of Isaiah is written exclusively to the Israelites, all right? The book of Isaiah, let's get out Isaiah 1 and 1, all right? Let's see who his visions was for. The vision of Isaiah, the son of Amos, which he was saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem in the days of Uzzah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah, kings of Judah. All right. So all of the book of Isaiah was written exclusively to the nation of Israel. All right. All those prophecies and things in visions the Lord gave him, it was exclusively for the Israelites. All right, this is Isaiah 11 and 10. And in that day there shall be a root of Jesse, that's our great king Yahushua, which shall stand for an ensign of the people, and to it shall the Gentiles seek. And we are those Gentiles. We were all carried away to these dumb idols. When we were born, our parents taught us the ways of the heathen, Halloween, Christmas, Easter. All right, we were all idolaters, eating profane foods, pork, shrimp, crawfish, all right, so on and so forth, lobster, all right? And guess what? The ensign is lifted, and now we're seeking him. And his rest shall be glorious, and we want that salvation that he's going to give us, man. All right? Because this is in our rest, man. All right? We're those Gentiles that conform to Yahushua's glorious gospel. We the ones that were carried away to those dumb idols. Before we came to this ministry, before we came to this idol, we were carried away to dumb idols. We were taught the ways of the heathen. We were, in the ancient word is called Hellenization, and in modern times it's called Westernization. Okay? So with that, I don't want Ratazah. This was edifying to the hearers. I want to give infinite honors to my Heavenly Father, my great King, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Harakakadash. Double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops, a great millstone, and salutation to my fellow laborers in the Mashak Yahweh Shah, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Abba.